This bag says compostable, and when we're done with it, we throw it away, and eventually it turns into compost, right? Not necessarily. The exact same bag can end up in three very different places. It might actually become part of a composting system, or it might end up in a landfill with ordinary trash, and in recycling, it may simply become contamination. So the real question isn't whether it can compost, it's where it actually goes. When we see compostable, it's easy to imagine the bag simply disappearing after we throw it away. But composting only happens under the right conditions. Temperature, moisture, oxygen, and microbes all matter. For many compostable products, that ideal environment is an industrial composting facility, and that's very different from a compost pile in your backyard. So having the right material isn't enough. You also need the right environment, but before it can break down, it first has to reach that environment. Ideally, the route looks like this: home, organics bin, collection truck, then a composting facility. For example, you might line your kitchen food waste bin with a compostable bag. It fills up with coffee grounds, fruit peels, vegetable scraps, and leftover food. Then the whole bag goes into the organics bin. A collection truck picks up the organic waste. If the system works as intended, it heads to a composting facility. There, the food waste and the bag enter the process, if the facility accepts the bag. First, the process needs enough heat. It also needs the right amount of moisture. Oxygen also needs to move through the material, and then the microbes get to work. With the right conditions and enough time, the material gradually breaks down. Eventually, what was waste can become compost. That sounds simple, but there's a catch. Not every organics program accepts compostable bags. Two households can buy the exact same bag and still be given different disposal instructions. A 2023 survey found that 14.9 million U.S. households had access to municipally supported food waste collection. But collecting food waste doesn't automatically mean compostable plastic bags are accepted. Among the curbside programs that reported their rules, only about half accepted certified compostable liners. One reason is that composting facilities don't all operate the same way. Some facilities are designed to process them. Others simply remove them from the stream. That's because composters face another problem: contamination from ordinary plastic. A compostable fork, cup, or bag can look almost identical to conventional plastic. So to reduce contamination, some facilities choose not to accept compostable packaging at all. But what if your area doesn't have organics collection at all? In that case, the compostable bag usually goes into the regular trash. The word compostable on the bag doesn't magically create composting infrastructure. It goes wherever the rest of the trash goes, often a landfill. And a landfill is not just one giant compost pile. More importantly, think about what's inside the bag: food. In the U.S., food waste makes up about 24% of the material sent to municipal landfills, yet EPA estimates that landfilled food waste is responsible for about 58% of the methane escaping from these landfills. So the environmental opportunity isn't simply replacing one kind of bag with another. A bigger goal is keeping food waste out of landfills in the first place. What about the recycling bin? This answer is much simpler: no. Compostable plastic bags do not belong in conventional plastic recycling. When mixed in, they can contaminate and disrupt the recycling stream. The problem is they can look and feel just like ordinary plastic. Looking similar doesn't mean they belong in the same waste system. Plant-based, biodegradable, and compostable do not mean recyclable. And this is the part we often miss. The bag itself is only one part of a much larger system. What really determines the outcome is the right bag, the right bin, the right collection system, and a facility that actually accepts it. Remove any one of those links, and the ending can change completely. So next time you see compostable, don't just ask whether it can break down. Check how your local system actually handles it. Because in the end, the material doesn't decide the bag's fate by itself. The system does.